Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
Tonight, a News Hour. Commercial banks comply with Central Bank of Nigeria's directives, attend to customers. Bandit kill clergyman, abduct wife in Kaduna. 25 people killed, 10 injured in Bauchi road accident. On the foreign scene, at least 23 people killed in Mississippi tornado storm as search and rescue operations continue. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ile. Thanks for joining. Here's the news in details. Commercial banks have extended their services to weekends as part of efforts to make cash available to Nigerians. Now, the weekend banking is equal to the CBN directive to deposit money banks following the order by the National President of the Nigeria Labour Congress that workers should picket CBN branches across the nation to protest the biting cash crunch. The report.
The swift response by the central bank to avert a national strike comes after the Supreme Court, holding a March 3rd judgment, restored the old notes as legal tender till December 31st. 9 days after the court ordered the CBN kept mum, while Nigerians groaned in severe shortage of cash. 10 days after, it took the presidency issuing a statement that it had no reason to disobey the order before the CBN released a statement that the bank was in sync with the order. Despite promises to release cash, nothing significant happened. However, it would seem all that was needed was a directive from the Nigerian Labour Congress to workers to picket all CBN branches in the country in order to get things done. Indeed, things got done, as this consequently made the CBN to other deposit money banks to work during the weekend to ensure that sufficient cash is made available to Nigerians. A visit to some banks in Nigeria's capital city revealed that banking services were being provided in some branches. Some residents told Trust TV that the weekend banking is a welcome development as it will help ease the cash scarcity crisis.
What I'm seeing in bank now is not too much queue. If bank can work on Saturday, even 2 hours is more better than other days. Today, that's just very simple and nice. You'll be online, your turn rate, you just collect money and go. If the bank can work even 2 hours, it will be enough to serve public. They pay me very easy, they pay me, but actually they don't pay me what I want. But the one they pay me, it will be okay for me today.
Now I see the CBN have done what they are supposed to do. There is money now. If you want anything less than 40,000, you can use the ATM. While anything be above 50,000, if you enter inside the bank, they will give you up to 50,000. I think that is a very welcome development for everybody.
They've done a lot of work as people are withdraw 40 or 20 amounts anyone where what. But I think no one will withdraw 100 for you, but from 40 down. So everything is okay.
Others commended the level of compliance by banks, noting that they are hopeful that in the days ahead, things will change for the better.
I wasn't inside the banking hall, but I went to withdraw through the ATM machine, and of course everything is fine. You know, initial stage, but I think the withdrawal limit per day was 10,000 naira, but now things have really improved. So we are able to withdraw 40,000 naira to go now. Like we withdraw 20,000 naira twice. That is for GT to GT. But for other bank, it doesn't work for other bank.
I came in, I spent like 30 minutes, everything was moving smoothly. But the problem with the ATM, it was only paying that one particular bank. You know, ATM from other banks, it wasn't accepting it. So I had to go into the banking hall, but everything was smooth.
However, our camera captured some branches of commercial banks under locks, a clear breach of the CBN's directive, but whether these erring banks will be sanctioned is a story for another. Chiamaka Nwafor, Trust Television, Abuja.
Meanwhile, Lagosians have been reacting to the compliance by commercial banks to the order issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria on the release of the cash to customers. Our crew monitored compliance in Lagos and reports that residents are glad that life will return to normal in the days ahead.
There's now a sense of relief among Nigerian citizens as commercial banks in the country are now keying into the order of the Central Bank of Nigeria to open for operation on Saturdays and Sundays to meet the demands of their customers as part of coordinated efforts to ensure the circulation of more notes. Some Lagos residents add their views to the new development.
I haven't been seeing the situation right now. Concerning the money, the cashless money, right away. The bank is doing well. They are trying. I just went from the bank. I came back from bank right away, and I discovered that the things is good. The bank are paying. They are giving out a little by little, and they are coming up. I have my own cash as well. I collected a little money. I could lay my hand on them in the bank, and it's okay. Everything is working, and I believe that this is going to be all right. So just let's keep moving.
They are not giving out cash. It's just few banks that are obeying the law. Other banks are not obeying. Banks like UBA, they are not obeying. Access Bank, that one is nowhere to go about. They are not giving out any cash. And if you want to talk about Sterling Bank, is the only bank that are giving out cash, and the queue there is just too much. So that is all I can say about it.
Those who spoke called on the CBN to ensure total compliance as some banks did not comply.
I want CBN to do. I want them to pump money for the whole bank. So because the scarce money is too much, because we are suffering too much. So I won't make the pump money. So if they start like that, the Wednesday, everybody will not go slack. Because I will join them.
Why people are not seeing cash, is not good like that. It's not much enough in our country. And I think it's a great idea for CBN to give this kind of order. If they can do like this for some months, maybe the money will circulate, so the money will reach everybody, to go to where they wanted to go, or to do what they wanted to do, you understand? So I think it's a really good idea.
Some Lagosians are, however, of the opinion that if banks continue to dispense cash to customers at the weekend, it will help ease the challenges with circulation of Naira notes in the country.
Now, many farmers in Katsina State engage in both rainy and dry season farming. However, irrigation farmers in the state are counting losses as a result of cash crunch, which has forced many to abandon their farms. The farmers say that they cannot access farm inputs without cash, and the merchants buying their farm produce after harvest are also coming without cash. Abdullahi Amadi meets some of the irrigation farmers in Kaita local government border with Niger Republic and share their experience.
Irrigation here is done using tube wells to water farm produce, mostly onions, cabbage, pepper, garden egg, maize, and even Irish potatoes, among many others. However, the challenges these farmers are facing is unavailability of cash to buy inputs, pay laborers, fuel power generating sets to pump water to their farm produce as at when due. This, among many other factors, has forced many out of the business and directly affected the yield of those who remain in it. They say, before the cash crunch, there were over 1.5 million people engaged in various irrigation clusters in Kaita local government alone. But now, one could hardly get 200,000 people in the business. You see, irrigation farming requires cash to run it. Okay, look at it from this perspective. Fertilizers, herbicides, labor, and everything is a matter of cash. This cash crunch has dwarfed every part of this business, and we are running at loss. I had to downsize the number of laborers working on my farm because they always request for cash after work, and I can't access it. You can't ask a laborer to open a bank account before you pay him. Please, we want the government to intervene with immediate effect to save this sector from total collapse. Don't forget, the contribution of irrigation in ensuring food security cannot be quantified. We also need support from the government. These farmers said at a point they had to resort to trade by barter to avoid losing their farm produce, which are mostly perishable goods. Most of the merchants who patronize their goods from Wari, Lagos, Ibadan, Benin, and Abuja had abandoned the business due to non-availability of cash. I bought these goods without cash, with agreement that if I sold it in Lagos, I will pay on return. This was not the case in the past. It was on cash and carry basis. The story of cash will soon be available for business to flourish may not be good news to many Katsina residents, and they have been waiting for long without anything. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
The Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo, has been advised to face the business of his ministry by trying to resolve the lingering industrial crisis in the country rather than engaging himself in political issues. The chairperson of the Women Wing of the Labour Party in Bauchi State, Hajara Moses, gave the advice while addressing journalists during a press briefing in Bauchi. Adam Imam reports. Okay, we'll bring you details of that report later. Now, the Court of Appeal, Abuja, on Friday evening dismissed an appeal by People's Democratic Party seeking the disqualification of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, and his vice presidential candidate, Kashim Shettima, in the February 25 election. A three-member panel headed by Justice James Abundaga in a unanimous judgment held that the PDP failed to establish that it had locus standi to institute the case. The PDP had prayed the appellate court to reverse the January 13 judgment delivered by Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court, Abuja, which dismissed its suit on the grounds that the PDP lacked locus standi to have instituted the suit. While the PDP was the appellant, the Independent National Electoral Commission, APC, Tinubu and Shettima were respondents in the appeal. The PDP had, in the suit filed on July 28, 2022, challenged the validity of Tinubu-Shettima ticket for the 2023 presidential election. It argued that Shettima's nomination as the running mate was in breach of provisions of sections 29, sub 1, 33, 35, and 84, sub 1 and 2 of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended, claiming that Shettima had double nominations. The Independent National Electoral Commission has denied that a property that was attacked in Bauchi State belongs to its chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. The commission made this known in a statement signed by Yakubu's chief press secretary, Rotimi Oyekomi, on Saturday. Oyekomi insisted that his principal does not own any property in Bauchi in the state, adding that the rumors are part of a desperate smear campaign against the INEC chairman. The Department of State Services has warned politicians to desist from peddling hate speech and all forms of false narratives to ignite violence or pit citizens against the President Muhammadu Buhari government or the incoming administration of the President-elect Bola Tinubu. In a statement on Saturday, DSS spokesperson Peter Afunaya said that violence will consume politicians, inciting the breakdown of law and order. The secret police's warning followed a petition by the Minister of State for Labour and Productivity, Festus Keyamo, that the DSS should invite the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi and his running mate Dati Baba Ahmed over their rejection of Tinubu as the president-elect. Afunaya alerted the public of plans to violently disrupt the peace in the country and warned those desperate to cause a breakdown of law and order to desist from that. The Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has warned governorship aspirants on the platform of the All Progressives Congress to desist from divisive tendencies that could jeopardize the interest of the party. He said such political behavior could undermine the peace and unity that the ruling party had been known for in the state under his leadership. This was contained in a statement made available to journalists in Lokoja on Saturday by Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fawo. The governor therefore urged governorship aspirants on the platform of the APC in the state to focus their strength on wooing party members ahead of the primary election scheduled to hold in April. The minister in charge of Ekwa Church, Buddha II, Reverend Musa Mairimi of Kasua Magani in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, was on Thursday shot dead by bandits. The Kaduna State chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend John Hayab, who confirmed the incident on Saturday, explained that the attackers stormed the community on Thursday and killed the clergyman in his residence. He lamented that the bandits also abducted the deceased wife. Reverend Hayab further informed that over 100 people abducted from various local government areas such as Kauru, Jaba, Kachia, Kagarko, and Kajuru are still in captivity for over 6 months now. He lamented that Khan is worried by the alarming rate of kidnapping of innocent souls at this hard time when people can hardly put food on their table. He called on security agencies to be more proactive in ensuring that society is free from the activities of bandits. Still on security matters, gunmen on Saturday kidnapped a special advisor to Governor Bello Muhammad Matawale, Lukman Ibrahim, in the Mariri district of Gusau, Zamfara state capital. According to Ibrahim's son, Maji Ibrahim, his father was kidnapped early on Saturday. He explained that his father was in the house when the kidnappers entered their compound through the fence. According to him, the incident was reported to the police immediately. The Nigerian Army on Saturday graduated 594 ex-Boko Haram members after undergoing 6 months de-radicalization, rehabilitation and reintegration program in Gombe State. The graduation ceremony of the repentant terrorists took place at Malam CD camp in Kwame local government area of the state. The camp commandant, Colonel Uche Nabwehe, said out of the 594 who underwent the training, 3 were from Niger and 1 from Chad. 3 were from Niger Republic and 1 from Chad Republic. Nabwehe further said of the 590 Nigerians, 15 were from Adamawa State, 495 from Borno State, 16 from Kano, 3 from Gombe, 16 from Yobe, 13 Kaduna, and 1 from Kogi. Others include 12 from Bauchi, 5 each from Jigawa and Katsina, 4 from Kebbi, 2 Zamfara, and 1 each from Nasarawa and Plateau State. The commandant said 6 Christians were among those who participated in the de-radicalization program. The anti-thuggery agency in Zamfara State says suspected hoodlums vandalized the agency's secretariat during the March 21 post-election violence in the state after announcement of governorship election results. The commandant, Bello Bakiaswa, disclosed this while speaking with newsmen in Gusau on Saturday. The State Police Command in a statement said it had arrested 40 suspected hoodlums for the alleged violence. Bakiaswa, who described the violence as an ugly incident, condemned the level of theft and destruction by some alleged party supporters in the state. He noted that the agency remained apolitical and was established by Governor Bello Matawale to complement security agencies to promote peace and stability in the state. According to him, 2 operational vehicles of the agency, including a Hilux and a Peugeot 406 Saloon belonging to the agency, were stolen by the hoodlums, adding that properties worth 50 million naira at the secretariat were also stolen by the hoodlums. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we look at uniting Nigerians after politics of ethnicity. Details of this and more after the break. That's great. That's good to see you. Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England's squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at some of the top stories again. Commercial banks comply with Central Bank of Nigeria's directives, attend to customers. Bandits kill clergyman, abduct wife in Kaduna. And we go back to our earlier story where we told you that the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo, has been advised to face the business of his ministry by trying to resolve the lingering industrial crisis in the country rather than engaging himself in political issues. The chairperson of the women wing of the Labour Party in Bauchi State, Hajara Moses, gave the advice while addressing journalists during a press conference in Bauchi. Adamu Imam reports.
Hajara Moses John condemned Festus Keyamo's call for the arrest of the presidential candidate of Labour Party and his running mate in the February elections, Peter Obi and Ahmed Det respectively. She said such calls were uncalled for and amount to an abuse of the right of Peter Obi and Detti Ahmed.
The call for His Excellency Senator Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed should be applauded, rather than attempting to create an atmosphere of rancor that may destabilize the country and shortchange the judiciary, which Labour Party has confidence in, the opportunity to deliver justice in favor of our presidential candidate and the Labour Party. We wish to remind Keyamo and his fans that Labour Party remains resolute on its call for justice regarding the just concluded general elections. Thank you.
She also stressed that the minister's call in a television program over Detti's stand on the outcome of the presidential election was done in bad faith and ill time, considering the fact that the election was characterized by irregularities in various states of the Federation. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Still in Bauchi, the Federal Road Safety Corps has confirmed that 25 people died while 10 others were injured in an accident that happened at Udubo along the Hadeja-Potiskum Road in Gama local government area of the state. FRSC Sector Commander in the state, Yusuf Abdullahi, who confirmed the incident on Friday, said the lone crash involving a Toyota Hummer bus occurred on Thursday at 4:30 p.m. He said that the driver, who had 24 people in the bus, lost control and ran into 11 people taking shelter under a tree close to a car wash. Now, no fewer than 4 persons have been confirmed dead in an accident that happened at Lafenwa area of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. It was gathered that a diesel-laden tanker rammed into a shop and vehicles parked by the roadside. Florence Okpe, the FRSC spokesperson in the state, said that many were trapped in the crash as the tanker caught fire immediately. Okpe said that 2 other vehicles were involved in the crash that occurred at Lafenwa roundabout. She said that the total number of persons involved in the accident could not yet be confirmed. However, she said that 4 male adults have been confirmed dead by first responders. A rainstorm on Friday rendered many homeless after destroying houses in Iyara, the headquarters of Ijumu local government area of Kogi State. An unspecified number of people were reported to have sustained various degrees of injuries in the disaster. The heavy rain started at about 4 p.m. as some classrooms of Community High School Iyara were torched by the storm. Although there was no loss of life, those injured, according to reports, are currently receiving treatment in an undisclosed hospital. The president of Iyara Development Association, Aliyu Badaki, expressed sadness over the disaster, which he described as unfortunate. Maiduguri residents say that they are having a hard time with the harsh weather condition of the month of March. According to them, the heat is also having a slight impact to the mandatory rites of the Ramadan fasting. Bitrus Kuruti in this report spoke to some of the residents on how they are coping with the heat.
The month of March is the beginning period of the hot season, where it gets extra sunny and makes life pretty much difficult for residents. The hot weather in Maiduguri most times makes people to minimize movement around the metropolis, while many others find a shade or cool spot to avoid the heat as they observe the Ramadan fast.
Feeling comfortable, yes. Yes, I just keep myself under the shade if the sun rays to 12 till 4. Then at least I'll move my activities. By then the sun has been cooled down. The temperature has been down by 4.
We sleep outside because of the heat, and in the daytime we pour water on the ground to make the ground cool so that we don't suffer much from our fasting.
Basically what I can say, this weather of this year is very, very harsh, more than the previous years, because in the previous years we have started getting rainfall around that time. When the fasting was around 15 or 13, then we started getting rainfall, so the weather is very conducive. But for this time around now, this is the 3rd day now we are doing the fasting now, and a lot of places are having rain, but here in Maiduguri we are still awaiting to see the rain. Rain has fallen in Gamboringala, an area of Goza, rain has fallen down. Dambua rain has fallen down, so but we are still expecting our one too.
Although the availability of electricity in town is cushioning the impact of the heat, the scarcity of cash is another challenge many are grappling with.
Cashless policy, it's a cashless policy, so that is our hardship that we are suffering. You have money in your account, but you cannot access, and then even the network, it has a lot of challenges. We are facing a lot of challenges because you will buy something you can transfer, and the transfer will not it's not effective.
When you go to the bank, the queue is very, very long and you can't get cash. You will stand for hours and you wouldn't be able to withdraw any money. Many residents will have to bear the present weather condition for 3 months till the rainy season sets in. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
The Lagos State Ministry of Justice has initiated the prosecution of Oluwaseun Oshibanjo, driver of the BRT bus that collided with a moving train in Lagos on March 9. The Lagos State government said a prima facie case of manslaughter and grievous bodily harm was established against the driver, who will face a 16-count charge. According to a statement signed on Friday by the Director of Public Affairs in the ministry, Grace Allo, the incident, which involved Lagos State government staff heading to work in the staff bus and passengers of the train, resulted in 6 fatalities, with about 96 others with various degrees of injuries, while noting that the office of the DPP will immediately file charges against the driver. The statement added that his arraignment before the Ikeja High Court will be delayed until he is fully fit to stand trial, having sustained serious injuries during the accident. It will be recalled that a LASG staff bus collided with a train on March 9th at the PWD railway crossing at Ikeja, and the train dragged the bus with its passengers along the tracks until it came to a stop at Shogunle, a suburb in Ikeja. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State has directed the payment of 5 million naira damages to a driver, Adedotun Clement, who was assaulted by officials of the Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Agency and the Nigerian Police Force during the first anniversary of the #EndSARS protest on October 20, 2021 at the Lekki Toll Gate. A federal high court sitting in Lagos had earlier in March ordered the state government and the police to pay the sum of 5 million naira as compensation to the driver. The court also condemned the torture of Clement by officials of the Lagos State government and the Nigeria Police Force. Clement was assaulted on October 20, 2021 while he was carrying a passenger from the island to the mainland part of the state when he encountered the protest at the Lekki Toll Gate, which was disrupted by officials of Lagos State and the police. Justice Ambrose Lewis Alagua had held that the treatment meted on the applicant amounted to a violation of his right to dignity and awarded the sum of 5 million naira as damages. In a post on his verified Twitter handle on Saturday, the governor said he has directed that the damages be paid. Still from Lagos State, the government says that a case of involuntary manslaughter, in addition to reckless and negligent acts, has been established against Chrisland School, some members of staff and a vendor in the death of a student, Whitney Adeniran. The Office of the Director of Public Affairs, Lagos State Ministry of Justice, in a statement on Friday, said the suspect will be charged with the offences contrary to sections 224 and 251 of the Criminal Laws of Lagos State 2015. Adeniran was said to have slumped during her school's inter-house sports on February 9th. After an autopsy, it was revealed that the 12-year-old died from asphyxia and electrocution. Following the controversial circumstances surrounding the student's death, the state government, through the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Moyoshore Onibanjo, ordered a coroner's inquest into the matter to ascertain the cause of the death. Now, the Anambra State government says it has rescued a 12-year-old girl and 2 of her younger siblings from their father, Arinze Obiwenite, who allegedly defiles her. The State Commissioner for Social Welfare, Ife Obinabo, told journalists on Saturday in Awka that the children were rescued on Monday during a raid at Abacha town in Idemili North local government area following a tip-off. Obinabo said that she visited the traditional ruler of Abacha community, Igwe Wabunwane Odiegu, to notify him of the raid before taking action. She said that during the visit, Igwe Odiegu revealed that the accused, Obiwenite, presented himself as a Christian who helped people solve their spiritual problems without knowing that he had other motives. The commissioner said that they raided Obiwenite's residence and rescued the 12-year-old girl and her 2 siblings who had been taken to the hospital for medical examination and treatment. She assured that the children will get justice and a conducive environment for growth and proper care. Obinabo said that the Obiwenite had been arrested by the police and transferred to the State Criminal Investigative Department in Awka. Stakeholders and elders of Gasol 1 constituency in Taraba have urged Governor Darius Ishaku to respect the order of a Jalingo High Court restraining the government from creating a new chiefdom from the present Gasol. Addressing a news conference in Jalingo on Saturday, spokesman of the forum, Haman Tukur Kau, explained that they were out to put their records straight on issues surrounding the creation of Kwararafa chiefdom. Kau explained that this is against the fact that the creation of the new chiefdom from Gasol was improper and had no basis. The order was made pending the determination of the motion and notice. Kau observed that in spite of the court order served on the state government and the other defendants, they were shocked to hear that government appointed one Metusela E. Adamu as a third-class chief of Kwararafa on March.
Relating to creation of Kwararafa chiefdom out of Gasol chiefdom with the primary aim of setting the record straight in the interest of justice and fairness. You are all aware the creation of Kwararafa chiefdom out of the existing Gasol chiefdom by the present administration of Governor Darius Dixon Ishaku in 2019. The creation of Kwararafa chiefdom and the appointment of late John Abu Sokwa as third-class chief in 2019 was vehemently opposed and rejected by the stakeholders, elders of Gasol 1 constituency, owing to the fact that the creation of the new chiefdom out of Gasol chiefdom was improper and uncalled for. As a result, it's culminated out of legal issues, actions taken by the stakeholders, elders forum of Gasol 1 constituency at the State High Court in Jalingo in order to compel the government to revert her decision on the creation of Kwararafa chiefdom out of the Gasol chiefdom with a view of maintaining the status quo. My dear gentlemen of the press and ladies, as law-abiding citizens, we directed our counsel, Barrister S.M. Wakili Esquire, to file a suit before Justice D.N. Buba of the State High Court to stop the government of Taraba State from taking further action on the new chiefdom.
Now, people living with tuberculosis in Oyo State have been advised to take advantage of the ongoing free tuberculosis test currently being carried out by the state government in order to reduce the prevalence of the disease among residents. The Commissioner for Health, Taiwo Olabode, made the call on Friday at the commencement of the 2023 World Tuberculosis Day held in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital.
Figures from the Oyo State Ministry of Health show that Nigeria ranks 6th among 30 high TB burden countries globally and first in Africa, while Oyo State accounts for 13th high tuberculosis burden states in Nigeria. The ministry says the total number of individuals screened for tuberculosis in the state stood at 136,226 in the year 2022, while 11,747 were diagnosed and placed on treatment, with 663 patients co-infected with tuberculosis and HIV. Worried by these statistics, the State Ministry of Health, in collaboration with partners, converged on the Oyo State College of Health Science and Technology to sensitize upcoming health practitioners on the dangers of tuberculosis. Partners at the event emphasized the need for stakeholders to work together towards reducing the prevalence of tuberculosis in the state.
Nigeria ranks 6th among the 30 high TB burden countries in the world. We have India, Indonesia, China, Philippines, Pakistan, Nigeria, Bangladesh, and Democratic Republic of Congo. Those 8 countries, that's why we have 60% of the world TB cases. And Nigeria is now ranking number 6 among those 30 high TB burden countries.
And I want to urge all of us, it is our responsibility, it is our duty as parents, as neighbors, as healthcare workers, to give hope to people who may have TB and are shy because of stigma and discrimination in our communities. People should feel confident to come out and find out if they have had cough for over 2 weeks and are not getting better even after they've taken medication.
Stakeholders at the event also took turns to reiterate their commitment towards eradicating tuberculosis in Oyo State.
We want to decentralize TB management to all the communities in Oyo State. Why are we here? We want to stop TB in Nigeria because with everyone we can do it. We've been able to, in a way, strengthen diagnostic capacity of the state through WHO-approved rapid molecular means through now-TB pattern of recent TB lab, and this has also helped us to increase the case finding and also bridge the gap in TB diagnosis.
To demonstrate the seriousness in eradicating the disease in the state, stakeholders used the opportunity of this year's theme, Yes, We Can End TB, to renew calls for residents to go for TB testing, which is now available across the 33 local government areas across the state.
Nigerians have been cautioned against discrimination against persons affected by tuberculosis in the country. This is coming on the heels of the 2023 World TB Day, marked globally to raise awareness on the disease and educate people not to discriminate against victims. The theme of this year's World TB Day is Yes, We Can End TB, which reinforces the determination to end TB by 2030. The TB focal person at Lawyers Alert, a non-profit human rights organization, Peace Okeshola, said that the organization is assisting victims in accessing free legal services in situations when their rights have been violated. The president of Lawyers Alert, Romy Mom, said that the organization is in partnership with Stop TB Partnership under the Challenge Facility for Civil Society is carrying out an intervention in TB movement and use of the law and human rights in TB response. Lawyer Alert, in a statement to commemorate this year's edition of World TB Day on Friday, harped on the need to strengthen TB movement and the use of law and human rights in TB response. Some residents of Lagos have urged newly elected leaders in the just concluded elections to work towards unifying the country and its people. Among them is the Chief Imam, 1004 Mosque in Victoria Island, Lagos, who told Trust TV that the ethnic politics that was played during the general election is unfortunate and affecting relationships between ethnic groups. Hence, all hands must be on deck to unify the country and its people. Abbas Dalibi reports.
Some Nigerians are worried about the ethno-religious politics that was played in the just concluded elections and how it is affecting the relationships between different ethnic groups in the country. Sheikh Ibrahim Suleiman, the Chief Imam 1004, lamented the situation, urged those in power to ensure that such differences are resolved to enable Nigerians to continue to live in harmony with one another.
parties has come in the name of religion, in the name of tribalism. They come out with unexpected, thinking that make us to think otherwise. What we are expecting from the governor is to bring close to the Ummah, to relate to all the Ummah, so that we already know that he's doing that, but this time around it should be different, because he know that the throne is almost falling.
Also, Abdul Hadi Sani, the special assistant to the Ogun State Governor on inter-ethnic affairs, said the high level of disunity among Nigerians was seen during the elections, adding that there is need for warring parties to shift their sort of ethnicity.
We have disunity, a whole lot of issues. So every leader that's been elected, I'm very sure is quite aware of all these issues, and we have to swift into action immediately to remedy this situation. And I'm quite happy all the leaders that have received a certificate. Most of them, if not all, the first thing that we say, this is the healing moment. The election has come and gone. We have to call ourselves together to the round table and see how to move our state and our country at large to the promised land. The whole lot of issue we are having is enough for us to face, not to start fighting ourselves again.
The Sarkin Hausawa of Marine Beach in Apapa, Alamu Abdullahi, disclosed that since the elections has come and gone, those that won should carry along everyone in the task of building the nation. He said, for them as the custodian of the people's culture and traditions, they promote peaceful coexistence among all tribes. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
Time now for us to take a quick break. The news continues shortly. Join us again.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's now take a look at business updates with Chiamaka Nwafo.
Nigeria has spent a whopping 89.3 trillion naira to import goods in 5 years between 2018 and 2022. This is according to compilations by Nairalytics from the Foreign Trade Report released by the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS). Further breakdown of the data show that importation accounted for 48.21% of the total trade recorded in the review period. Meanwhile, total exports stood at 95.95 trillion naira in the same period, reflective of an international trade surplus of 6.7 trillion naira. In the 5-year period under review, the highest import expense was recorded in 2022 with 225 trillion naira, representing a 22.8% increase when compared to the 208 trillion naira recorded in the previous year. Senegal's largest cement producer, Socosym Industries has secured a €242 million finance package from the International Finance Corporation (IFC), the private sector arm of the World Bank Group, to build a new production line at its Rufisque cement plant in the Dakar region. Socosym Industries, a subsidiary of France-based multinational Vicat, is currently responsible for around 4 million tons of cement production per year, which is more than any other player in Senegal's cement industry. By comparison, Africa's largest cement producer, Dangote Cement, sold around 10 million tons of cement in 2022. The IFC's finance package comprises a €120 million loan from its own account and €122 million in local currency parallel loans. Société Générale Sénégal has been appointed as the administrative agent with 3 other banks as lenders. The European Union and Germany have reached a deal on the future use of combustion engines, officials said on Saturday, an issue that has been clearly followed by the auto industry. The bloc and its largest economy has been at odds over the planned 2035 phase-out of CO2-emitting cars, but leaders signaled in recent days that they were close to a resolution. Germany has wanted assurances that new combustion engine cars can be sold beyond the deadline if they run on e-fuels, a request supported by parts of Germany's powerful car industry. German Transport Minister Volker Wissing said the way is clear with the agreement reached late Friday. And finally, in stocks, a total turnover of 1.689 billion shares worth 11.066 billion naira in 14,019 deals was traded this week by investors on the floor of the exchange. The healthcare industry led the activity chart with 1.086 billion shares valued at 1.627 billion naira and traded in 267 deals. The financial services industry and the conglomerates industry came second and third respectively. The NGX All-Share Index and market capitalization depreciated by 0.04% to close the week at 54,892.53 and 29.903 trillion naira, respectively. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
And on the foreign scene, at least 23 people have been killed after a tornado and severe storm swept through the U.S. state of Mississippi. The Mississippi Emergency Management Agency said dozens were injured and 4 people missing as search and rescue teams combed through the destruction looking for survivors after the storm struck Silver City in western Mississippi. Search and rescue operations were underway in Cherokee and Humphreys counties, about 110 kilometers north of state capital Jackson. The rural towns of Silver City and Rolling Fork reported destruction as the tornado swept northeast at 113 kph without weakening, racing towards Alabama through towns including Winona and Amory into the night. Now, Rwandan government critic Paul Rusesabagina, whose efforts to save people during the 1994 genocide were portrayed in hit Nollywood film Hotel Rwanda, has been freed from prison after more than 900 days behind bars. Rusesabagina was released late Friday and will return to the United States after the Kigali government commuted his 25-year sentence on terrorism charges. His detention sparked criticism in the West and among rights groups and highlighted Rwanda's record of crushing political dissent and free speech under President Paul Kagame. Rusesabagina was jailed after he was found to have backed an armed rebel group in a trial that his supporters denounced as a sham. The 68-year-old has been in failing health, and his family said he was tortured during his 939 days in detention. U.S. President Joe Biden welcomed Rusesabagina's release, calling it a happy outcome. And in sports news, Guinea under-23 side are intensifying preparations ahead of the second leg of their 2023 Africa Under-23 Cup of Nations qualifying fixture against Nigeria's Olympic Eagles. The encounter will hold at the Mole Al Hassan Stadium, Rabat, on Tuesday. The young Siley Stars arrived in Rabat on Friday night and had their first training session on Saturday morning. Now, Marius Keita has also linked up with the team. Mole Cisse side held the Olympic Eagles to a 0-0 draw in the first leg at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja, on Wednesday. The overall winners will qualify for the Under-23 AFCON to be hosted by Morocco in November. And that's it for the news hour tonight. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.